Hey guys, it's Alyssa here from the Reddit reaction stories, and you're watching Rated T for TTRPG.
Hey, what is up today, guys? We have got another D&D Reddit horror story, and this one I was pretty interested to read as soon as I saw it on the roster because it's titled Had a Player Issue an Ultimatum to Me, the Dungeon Master, during a session. And if I had one of my players giving me an ultimatum in the middle of a session, I don't know if I'd hear you guys out. I don't like
Probably not.
ultimatums. They set me off. I feel like this is fairly mild as RPG horror stories go, but it still threw me for a loop. This past Friday, I ran a session with my players exploring an abandoned cursed city. We had left off the previous week with the party having made their way inside and gotten lost, as the buildings seemed to shift around them. They had just made it to an inn with a glowing golden light inside and a face looking out at them from a window.
That's creepy.
The inn was a protected safe zone, made so by an act of divine intervention on behalf of a paladin inside. The character looking out the window was a new player who was just joining the group. Oh, okay, yeah, I was with you. That sounded like really freaky and why is this a safe zone? But that's
Yeah.
actually a cool way to introduce somebody.
No, I meant like the face part was
Yeah,
creepy.
just peering out at you from the window. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, oh, okay. But it is cool though, for sure.
Yeah. This week, we picked back up with some discussion between characters about plans for navigating the city, introduction to the new character, etc. They each had a little downtime for preparations before turning in for the night, and then I had the party's employer, a witch, visit the character in a dream. We got to learn the new character's motivations as a deal was struck in exchange for their services in helping the party on their quest to retrieve a MacGuffin. Okay, that's pretty cool. They've got
I
a
like the.
whole lot of setup for this.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like the storyline so far.
Throughout this, the problem player kept cutting others off and trying to rush things along. Yeah, we all go to sleep and then wake up rested. Now we're exploring the city, and great, we carry out the plan we made and we got to where we were headed. What's next? In the midst of other characters still talking to NPCs, gathering information, or role playing amongst themselves as they talked to the new character. That is so disrespectful to your players to just be like, "Let's rush the story. Come on, let's keep going, guys."
Is that the DM doing that? Is that
It's
weird?
the problem player who ends up giving him an ultimatum is just constantly rushing along the story, not really letting the other players kind of have their fun that they want to
Okay,
do.
okay. I was just making sure I understood that because I was like, wow, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like it's pretty fun to like role play waking up. I like doing that in
Yeah,
our campaign, and I feel like it's kind of just like a slice of life type of thing.
yeah, I feel like if you don't want to be doing those kind of things, that's a conversation that you should have with your dungeon master
Yeah,
after that session that you were bored as a player,
yeah.
and then be like, hey, I don't really like getting into that kind of stuff. And then the dungeon master is talking about, if his players do like getting that stuff, maybe it's not your kind of game. Or talk to your dungeon master
Mhm.
about finding ways that you can get into that roleplay stuff. I had an eye on the clock, and things were moving along at a good pace. We just had some story things to play out. That wasn't sitting well with this player,
Mhm.
who just continued to be rude and pushy. It got to the point where two other players were DMing me asking what was up with this guy. Ooh, that definitely implies that this is not just the dungeon master's perspective.
That's so bad, especially when other people are like, "Hey, I noticed this."
Yeah. The paladin makes a show of taking down the barrier protecting the inn, and the party set out, quickly getting lost by the shifting buildings. They had surmised that light was part of the solution, as the city was blanketed by heavy clouds and the days were being perceived as being unnaturally shortened.
Hmm.
But they initially held off on using either the druid's daylight spell or a magical orb that had been given to them previously for fear that their resources would need to be conserved. Hmm. Just cast the spell. You can then just rest. You don't need
Yeah,
to conserve your spells.
I know. I was kind of thinking about that, and I was like, I don't. I mean, I guess that could be
I,
a problem, but it depends on where you're at when you rest.
yeah, I guess this might be a pretty mechanically heavy game where they don't get to just rest whenever they want, like I let you guys do.
Which I do appreciate. I'm not gonna lie.
Finally, they chose to cast the daylight spell on the problem player's arrow while the rogue climbed a nearby building. The fired arrow revealed a path forward and gave the rogue a brief glimpse of the true layout of the city's streets. That's when things came to a head. Problem player cutting off the rogue mid sentence as he was telling the party what he saw. Great, sunlight was the answer. We get to the castle at the center of the city. What do we find?
Oh my
Bro.
god, are you kidding me? Like,
Bro, let your other party members have some fun.
that's just insane to me that you want to rush a game that you want to have fun in, or I'd hope that you would want to have fun in.
Yeah. Dungeon Master says, hold on. Rogue, what were you saying? Problem player. If the next words out of your mouth aren't, you arrive at the castle, then I'm gone.
Oh my
What?
goodness! What even?
DM, are you kidding me? Rogue, you climb back down the rope to the street below and Discord chimes as player disconnects.
He
The shadows. What?
he just literally left the game.
Yeah. How much of a
What?
jackass do you have to be? The shadows then flow out from between the nearby buildings like a black inky liquid. The many streams of shadow pool together in the street ahead, and then the liquid begins to drip upwards, forming itself into the shape of a figure. That's a cool setup.
What?
So 30 seconds after the impatient asshole disconnects, we were rolling for initiative for the combat that he apparently couldn't wait to get to. He started texting me immediately afterwards. I sent him a message saying that I'd reach out in a few days to talk, but I didn't want to waste any more time on him. I was and still am annoyed. I apologized to the other players and we carried on. The new player in her first ever D&D combat did a great job in the opening rounds and we'll pick it up mid-encounter this next Friday. That would throw me through such a loop too. Just
Uh,
to have your player just be like, "Nope, I'm so just done with this role playing. I'm just gone."
also, a new player having that be, oh my god, one of their, I don't know if that was their first session,
Yeah,
but
that's a
like,
rough experience for a new player to have to deal with that.
but that kind of sucks because then it's just like, oh, okay, like, is this always gonna be
Yeah,
something
they'd
that
be making me
happens?
wonder like is this how
Yeah,
all players can tend to
yeah,
be? This is crazy. I am dying to know if you guys have ever had somebody just leave like this. I guess it's less extreme being on Discord because you can just
yeah.
boop, I'm out. Versus like I thought it was gonna be an at table session, and he just stands up and is like, "I'm gone, guys. This is
That
not for
I
me."
thought that too until they were talking about the Discord, and I was just like, someone just walks. Imagine if someone walks out of the
Yeah.
room.
Somebody watching, let us know if you've ever had a player just mid session, like an at table in person session, just be like, "Nope, I'm gone." Because I know there's going to be plenty of people that have
Mm,
had Discord sessions where they leave. It's a completely different kind of dynamic having a
yeah.
completely online game.
Mm,
And I guess kind of like people on the internet, how they feel like they can be more brash and there's less consequences.
right.
Players tend to feel like they can be more of an asshole on those sessions. And that's why I'm more of an in person. I don't know if I'm ever going to be a dungeon master for a Discord game. I'm not much for that. I've done some text based short runs, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
extreme.
I couldn't play online personally.
Yeah, just to be so tired of all of the roleplay. That sounds like, honestly, you need to just play a different game. Like, Dungeons and Dragons is not for you at that point. If you're just gonna dip at every moment of roleplay and get fed up with it.
But it doesn't even sound like they wanted to be a part of it. It's
Yeah,
like it almost feels like they were forcing themselves to be a part
yeah,
of it and then got tired of it.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Definitely let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Please
Yes.
share your experiences. We're dying to get those, but this was insane. I love reading these every single time because it just reminds me of how grateful I am to have you
That's
guys.
what I'm
Like,
saying.
this
I
is
love our party.
toxic player to the max. So, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
What?
Hmm? Hmm? Oh, hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, well, good. There's more to come. Consider subscribing and eat that like button. It's delicious. Oh. Mm.